Aquarius, something is shifting on July 14th. And if you've felt like life has been holding its breath lately, this might be the moment everything starts to move again. A new moon is often seen as a symbolic, clean slate, a quiet invitation to begin again. And this July 14th new moon is landing in a way that many believe could speak directly to you, Aquarius. Today we're walking through 7 meaningful signs that may suggest a new chapter is opening in your life. Stay with me, because the 7th sign is the one that surprises people the most. The energy of the July 14th new moon. Let's start with the basics, because understanding this moment makes everything else click into place. A new moon happens when the sky goes dark before the light returns. There's no glow, no fullness, just quiet, open space. And for centuries, people have looked at that darkness not as something empty, but as something pregnant with possibility. Many astrology followers believe a new moon isn't an ending. It's a seed being planted before anyone can see what it will grow into. It's the pause before the first note of a song. And when a new moon arrives, it often invites us to ask a very simple, very powerful question. What do I want to begin? For you, Aquarius, this particular new moon may feel different from the ones before it. You may have noticed a quiet restlessness in the past few weeks, like a part of you has been waiting for permission to change direction. Some believe that when a new moon aligns with an area of your life that's been asking for renewal, it can feel like the universe finally exhales alongside you. You don't have to believe in magic to feel this. Sometimes it simply shows up as motivation, returning after a long dry spell. Sometimes it's a sudden willingness to try again. Whatever form it takes for you, this is a moment many are calling one of quiet but powerful potential. And that's exactly why we need to talk about what may be unfolding for you right now, because the signs are already beginning to show up. Sign number 1. Unexpected emotional clarity. The first sign is something many Aquarius natives may already be sensing, and it's this: clarity that arrives out of nowhere. You know that feeling when you've been turning something over in your mind for weeks, maybe even months, and then suddenly, without warning, it just makes sense. That's what many believe this new moon window can bring. Not answers that are forced or manufactured, but understanding that seems to arrive on its own, almost like a light switching on in a room you've been sitting in the dark. Maybe it's clarity about a relationship that's been confusing you. Maybe it's clarity about a decision you've been avoiding, or a pattern you finally recognize in yourself. Whatever it touches, this kind of clarity tends to feel calm rather than dramatic. It doesn't shout. It simply settles into you, quiet and certain. You may notice it happening in an ordinary moment. Washing dishes, driving home, lying awake at 2 in the morning. Suddenly the fog lifts, and you see the situation for what it truly is, not what your fear or your hope wanted it to be. This kind of clarity matters because it becomes the foundation for everything else that follows. You can't move forward with confidence when you're confused about where you stand. But once that fog clears, even just a little, you start walking differently. Your shoulders relax. Your decisions get simpler. And that shift, small as it may seem, can be the first real sign that something new is beginning. If this is already happening for you, take note of it, because it may be the opening chapter of something much bigger. Sign number 2. Doors begin opening. The second sign is one you may have already started to notice in small, almost easy-to-miss ways: doors quietly opening. This rarely looks like a dramatic, obvious event. It's usually smaller than that. A message from someone you haven't heard from in a while. A conversation that leads somewhere unexpected. An idea that suddenly feels possible when it didn't a few weeks ago. Many believe these are the kinds of signs that show up when a new moon is supporting new growth in your life. You might notice coincidences that feel a little too perfectly timed to ignore. Running into the right person. Seeing information you needed exactly when you needed it. Hearing about an opportunity through someone you'd almost forgotten. On their own, these moments might seem small, but together they can start to feel like a pattern. like pieces quietly arranging themselves into place. For Aquarius specifically, this can be especially meaningful, because you tend to think in terms of the bigger picture, of where things are headed, rather than where they stand right now. So when these small openings appear, you may be the first to sense what they could become. The key here is to stay open rather than skeptical. It's easy to dismiss a small opportunity because it doesn't look exactly like what you imagined. But many of the most important turning points in life didn't arrive wrapped the way we expected. They arrived quietly, almost unnoticed, until we looked back and realized that was the moment everything changed. So if a door feels like it's cracking open, even slightly, it may be worth walking toward it. Sign number 3. Letting go of the past. The third sign is one that can feel bittersweet, and it's this: an unexpected pull to let something go. Growth rarely happens without release. Before something new can take root, there's often something old that needs to loosen its grip first. Around this new moon, you may find yourself thinking about a relationship, a belief, or a version of yourself that you've quietly been holding on to, even if it no longer fits who you're becoming. This might show up as a memory resurfacing, giving you one last chance to make peace with it. It might show up as a sudden lack of interest in something that used to consume your thoughts. Or it might feel like simple exhaustion, a tiredness that comes from carrying something for far too long. Letting go doesn't always look like a big, cinematic moment. Sometimes it's quiet. A decision to stop checking someone's messages. A choice to finally forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. A willingness to stop replaying an old conversation and instead focus on the one happening in front of you now. For Aquarius, who often values independence and forward motion, this kind of release can feel like relief rather than loss. Once that emotional weight lifts, even slightly, there's usually more room to breathe. More room to think clearly, and more room for something healthier to grow in its place. If you're feeling the pull to release something right now, many would say that's not a coincidence. It may be exactly what needs to happen before your next chapter can begin. Sign number 4, trusting your inner voice. The fourth sign asks you to turn your attention inward, toward something quieter, but just as important: your intuition. You may have noticed a certain feeling lately, a subtle knowing that shows up before logic even has a chance to weigh in. Maybe it's a gut instinct about a person. Maybe it's a quiet sense that something needs to change, even if you can't fully explain why. Many believe that during a new moon, intuition becomes easier to hear, almost like the noise of daily life turns down just enough for that inner voice to come through. This might show up in your dreams, which could feel more vivid or meaningful than usual. It might show up in a passing thought that keeps returning to you, gently insisting on being noticed. Or it might simply feel like a pull towards stillness, a need to sit quietly instead of filling every moment with noise and distraction. Aquarius is often associated with intellect and reason, but intuition isn't the opposite of intelligence. It's a different kind of knowing, one that doesn't always come with an explanation, but often turns out to be right. Trusting it doesn't mean abandoning logic. It means giving your inner voice a seat at the table instead of dismissing it the moment it speaks up. If something in you has been quietly nudging you toward a certain choice, this could be the moment to actually listen. Not to rush into action, but to acknowledge what you already sense to be true. Because sometimes the most important guidance we ever receive doesn't come from outside of us. It comes from within. Sign number 5. Your miracle begins with one choice, and now we arrive at the fifth sign, the one that ties everything together, and honestly, the one that matters most. Here's the truth that so many people overlook. A miracle rarely announces itself with fireworks. It doesn't usually arrive as one giant, sweeping moment that changes everything overnight. Instead, it often begins with something much smaller and much braver. One honest choice. Maybe it's the choice to finally send that message. To apply for the opportunity you've been too afraid to try for. To walk away from something that's been quietly draining you. To speak the truth you've been holding back. To simply believe, even just a little, that something better is possible for you. This new moon isn't going to do the work for you. No moon phase ever does. But many believe it can offer something just as valuable, a moment of alignment, a nudge, a quiet sense of readiness. From there, the rest is up to you. Change is rarely one dramatic leap. It's usually a series of small, consistent choices, made even when you're uncertain, even when you're scared, even when you don't yet have proof that it will work out. That's what courage actually looks like. Not the absence of fear, but moving forward anyway. So if you feel that quiet pull toward something different, toward a version of your life that feels lighter, more honest, more yours, that feeling matters. It might be small right now, but so is every seed before it becomes something bigger than anyone expected. Your miracle may not arrive as a single moment. It may arrive as a choice you make today and then choose again tomorrow. No one can predict the future, and no new moon can promise exactly what tomorrow will bring. But what many people find meaningful about moments like this one isn't certainty. It's permission. Permission to pause, to reflect, and to choose something new. Aquarius, if you've felt a quiet shift lately, an unexpected clarity, a door opening, an old weight lifting, a whisper of intuition, or a courage you didn't know you still had, that isn't nothing. Whether you call it cosmic timing, or simply your own readiness finally catching up with you, the truth remains the same. You are allowed to begin again. This July 14th new moon may not change your life on its own, but you might. One choice, one breath, one small act of courage at a time. If you're welcoming a fresh beginning into your life right now, type "I am ready" in the comments below. I want to see how many of you are stepping into this new chapter with me. And if this video gave you even a small spark of hope today, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next reading. Then share this with another Aquarius in your life who might need a little hope today too. Because sometimes the encouragement someone needs most starts with you.